In this video, we're going to talk about the very basics of word problems, technically the basics of algebra in a way. So we see sometimes students, struggle with a very basic concept of, how you go around multiplying a variable or dividing certain numbers and all. So for example, right, word problems are all to do with basic algebra bit, like, you don't know a quantity or something that we want to know. We take the unknown quantity represented by a variable. Right, let's say I talk about Ram purchased 10 apples for 120 rupees, right, on total. What is cost of one apple? I think you could have figured out the answer as 12, but for example, let's say I don't know this, right? This is an unknown quantity for me. So let's take it as X rupees, right? One apple cost X rupees. What would be the cost of 10 apples? If I do show in a very detailed manner, it is like one apple costs X rupees, the first apple, the second apple, the third apple, the fourth apple, fifth apple, and so on. If I write it, I will be getting actually 10 apples, each cost X rupees, X rupees, X rupees, X rupees. If I add all of them, there will be nothing but 10 into X, which is 10X. Very simple thing that I understand. When I am adding, obviously each apple is X rupees, 10 apples would cost 10 times the same thing. Right? The basic logic of multiplication, nothing but adding the same number n number of times. That's why I'm getting 10x. So cost of 10 apples is 10x, which is given as 120 rupees. So x is equals to 120 by 10, which is 12 rupees. This is a very detailed explanation, but if you're very comfortable, you'll understand that 10 apples costed 120 rupees. They're asking one apple costs how much? Take it as x rupees. Just do the proportionality, do the cross multiplication. 10 into x equals to 1 into 120. So x is equals to 120 by 10, which is 12 rupees. There are n number of ways to think about this, but as long as you get the basic concept, that should be fine. So let's look at some questions, right, to make it a little bit more clear. So Ram purchased 10 apples and 20 oranges. Okay. If we assume that cost of one apple is x rupees and one orange is y, they themselves have given variables, right? How much money did Ram spend on apples, oranges, and apples and oranges together? So they're asking basically three different questions here. Just try to pass it and try on your own. If if you want to give a shot, we would recommend you to try it. Hope you have tried it. So the question is asking how much money did Ram spend on apples alone? That's the first question. Okay. So what is the cost of one apple? X rupees, right? Cost of one apple is rupees X. So what is, how many apples are they buying? Number of apples purchased is equals to 10. So what will be the cost total money spent on apples? Ram purchased 10 apples and each apple is X rupees. So that means he would have spent 10 into X, 10X rupees on it. Similarly, what about the oranges? Total money spent on oranges. That's basically 20 oranges. Each orange is y rupees. So that's 20 into y. That's 20 y rupees. That's the second question. Then they're asking on the whole, together how much did he spend? That's like the total money spent. Right, on both apples and oranges. Is how much money did I spend on apples is 10x and oranges is 20y. So the answer will be 10x plus 20y. You cannot add 10x and 20y obviously because they are two different variables. So just keep in mind. You can't write 30x or 30y. Right, simple questions, but if you're struggling, then this helps you to. So let's try this. Ravi purchased 10 pens and gave rupees y for all the 10 pens he purchased. So let's say Ravi walked into a shop. He saw a pack of 10 pens and said, I want that, and he paid y rupees, right, for that pack of 10 pens. What is the cost of each pen? That's what the question is. Right, as I've shown here, you can do this way also, or you can stick this way also, whatever the way works. Let me show both. Cost of one pen. Let's assume cost of one pen is rupees X. Okay, what will be the cost of 10 pens? Is equals to 10 into X. That is given as y rupees, right? So now what is the value for X? It's y by 10. That means each pen costs y by 10 rupees. Yes, I know it's again another variable, but that's how the question is. Instead of this, imagine this, that I gave you a question that Ravi purchased 10 pens and gave 100 rupees for all the 10 pens. What is the cost of each pen? 100 rupees by 10, that is 10 rupees. Instead of that, let's say he paid 250 rupees for all the 10 pens. So what is the cost of one pen? 250 rupees is the total, by 10 pens what he purchased, so he will be 25 rupees per pen. So that's how you find out the cost for each pen, right? So this is a very simple thing. Again, as we were showing, 10 pens costed y rupees, one pen let's assume cost x rupees. Let's find this, that's a goal, right? Do a cross multiplication, 10 into x equals to 1 into y, so x is equals to y by 10. That's what we got.